Welcome to the channel, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about a subject that God has put on my heart, and it's called Fathers Stand Your Ground. As fathers, I myself am not one, nor have I been married. I do want to say that. You are the guardian of your household. So what comes in, right, is also going to be portrayed out. Words, right? So if you have trash coming in, per se, right? Trash, that's all you're going to get from your kids is trash, right? Per se. But anyways, so Proverbs 20:7. The just man walketh in his integrity. His children are blessed after him. So if you're walking in integrity, right, with a good moral foundation, a set foundation, one that isn't wobbly, right, your children will follow after you. They will respect that, right? And anyways, okay. Proverbs 4:1-9. Hear ye children, the instruction of a father, and attend to no understanding. For I give you good doctrine. Forsake ye not my law. For I was my father's son, tender, and only beloved in the sight of my mother. He taught me also, and said unto me, Let thine heart retain my words, keep my commandments, and live. Right? Get wisdom, get understanding, forget it not. So this wisdom it's talking about, right? It's talking as it has a feminine aspect here. Forget it not, neither decline from the words of my mouth. Forsake her not, and she shall preserve thee. Love her, and she shall keep thee. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. Exalt her, and she shall promote thee. She shall bring thee to honor when thou dost embrace her. She shall give to thine head an ornament of grace, a crown of glory shall she deliver to thee. So this wisdom, right? This understanding, but also keeping his commandments, right? His ways. The straight and narrow path, right? Okay. Now, Ephesians 6:4. And ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. So, don't always sit there and yell at your kids, right? Our kids need to understand there's consequences for their actions. But after you punish them, let them know why you did what you did, right? Why you spanked them or what it was. You know what I mean? Show them love and compassion afterwards. But let them know, man, there's consequences, right? If you don't think there is any consequences, man, like anything goes, right? You can just do whatever you want, They need to know there are consequences. But also, you need to love them and to kind of understand they're different from you as well, right? They may be from your genes, they're still different than you. Yeah. Colossians 3:21. Fathers, provoke not your children to anger, lest they be discouraged, right? So if you're always angering your children and just you guys are always at odds, they're not going to want to follow you, even if you are following the right path or whatever. You know what I mean? So just love them, uplift them, right? But like I said earlier, they also need to know there's consequences, right? Okay. Psalms chapter 91. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress. My God, in Him will I trust. Surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler, and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with His feathers, and under His wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. So that's how the kids need to be studying this, right? But not only that, researching, right? Learning how to, think constructively, and also being able to critically think. You know what I mean? Testing their own beliefs and know how to test others, right? So they just don't believe everything that's coming in or some guy on YouTube, right? They be able to check me and check others, But anyways, sorry. Okay, Okay, thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor the arrow that flieth by day. Also, I do want to say, putting on the armor of God, right, every day. Nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only when thine eyes shalt thou behold, and see the reward of the wicked. Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For He shall give His angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. And what's interesting is the book of Enoch talks about God assigning angels to guard people. So that guardian angel thing is true. God does assign. He said it right here. For He shall give His angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. And they shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and the adder. So this is that same thing where Jesus says, you will trample over scorpions, or serpents and scorpions, right? The young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample under thy feet. This is very interesting here. I'll just say, yeah, that's a whole nother thing. I'll have to bring that up next time. Okay. The lion and dragon shall trample under thy feet, because He has set His love upon me. Therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because He hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. And I will be with him in trouble, and I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation, right? This is trusting in the Lord, right? But it's not just that, trusting that the Lord has the right way, right? That His ways are the right way. What Jesus says is the right thing, right? Okay. And I do want to bring this up here. So, His truth shall be thy shield and buckler, right? His truth and what? The shield of faith. That truth builds up that faith, right? Paul says to prove all things, right? And hold fast to which is good. Okay. So now this is what is being what our children are being led to, right? Okay, so this is the book of Enoch, chapter 7. This is going to be the first one, first verse. And all others together with them took unto them wives, and each chose for himself one. And they began to go unto them and defile themselves with them. And they taught them charms and enchantments, and the cutting of roots, and made them acquainted with plants, drugs, pharmakia is what this is. Right? They're being led this way. Man, because the mainstream church just, it ain't it, right? It ain't it, Chief. And I'm not saying all of them, just saying most of them. But, anyways, I digress. And this is another reason it's going to be quite a shocker to Christians here. Okay, so Matthew 24, we're going to start in verse 5 here. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ. Now, he's not saying, see, notice as he said, for many shall come in my name. He's saying they're coming in my name. And they're saying that I am the Christ, right? That Jesus is the Christ, that Jesus is the anointed. And shall deceive many, right? This is why our children need to test people and whatever they hear, right? Just because somebody's a pastor doesn't mean they're giving you the truth, right? And just some guy on YouTube sounds good, like me or something, or whatever, doesn't mean they're giving you the truth. Or because it agrees with your thinking, whatever, doesn't mean you're getting the truth. You need to test all things, right? To prove it, per se, right? So, what I say on this channel is it's the cross, the doctrine, and the example, right? What did Jesus say? Anyways. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Now, for nation shall rise against nation. I want you to look at what the Greek word for nation is here. Ethnos, a race. Nations, the nations. And what it's talking about here, it's saying race against race. Just telling you what the Bible says. Okay, YouTube? It's what the Bible says. Okay. So, for ethnos shall rise against ethnos, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. So, that's what our kids are being led to. This is why you have to be the guardian, right? You got to guard what comes in. You got to filter out, the good stuff from the bad, right? And you bring in good stuff into the home and you're nurturing and all that. Good stuff's going to come out, right? Okay. Now, I know some people are going to get probably a little bit offended on this one. I understand. This is another thing that our kids are being taught. Now, this is Darwin, right? Now, so this is from the National Library of Medicine. I do got to say this. As a library, LMM provides access to scientific literature, inclusion in an LMM database does not imply endorsement of or agreement with the contents by LMM or National Institutes of Health. Okay. So now that I read that, okay, given all the celebrations, conferences, special issues, and TV programs, everyone must know by now that it is 200 years since Charles Darwin was born and 150 years since the publication of The Origin of Species. And I do believe this guy here is a evolutionist still. So I just want to say that. He's not a Christian or anything like that. Okay. Among the spate of books published on this occasion, one actually stands out in its novelty. The claim that Darwin's evolutionary theory was inspired by his hatred of slavery, as especially experienced during his epic Beagle voyage. Desmond and Moore, 2009. It is a nice try, but it does not convince me. The Thomas Malthus and Galapagos finches provide a much more plausible origin for the theory of evolution by natural selection. Darwin was, after all, a man of his time, in class, in society. Now, I want to say, but this is where evolution started, though, right? Okay. This is where it started, was Darwin. True, he was committed to a monogenic rather than the prevailing polygenic view of human origins, but he still divided humanity into distinct races according to differences in skin, eye, or hair color. He was also convinced that evolution was progressive and that the white races, especially the Europeans, were evolutionary more advanced than the black races. Okay, now this is not my words. These are the words of the EMBO reports, Darwin, Race, Gender, and this guy here. Okay. Just want to say that. Okay, and thus, this is just for educational purposes only. We're utterly conventional. He stated that the result of that word, selection, is for men to be more courageous, pugnacious, and energetic than women with more inventive genius. His brain is absolutely larger. Okay, not my words. Okay, Darwin's. Okay. The formation of Earth's skull is said to be intermediate between the child and the man. Darwin, 1871. You can check all the stuff, and I'll put this in the link. Although female choices explain sexual selection, it is the males who evolve in order to meet the chosen criteria of strength and power. Such 19th century differentiation between the sexes was crucial in providing an alleged biological basis for the superiority of the male. Again, not my words, the words of this article in Darwin. Any attempt to separate a good Darwin from a bad social Darwinist cannot be sustained against a careful reading of Darwin's own writing. He enthusiastically endorsed his cousin Francis Galton's view of hereditary genius transmitted down the male line and nodded cautiously towards eugenics. During the 150 years since Darwin wrote such views on race, gender, and eugenics, while sometimes subterranean, they have never entirely vanished, a story history often told. Okay. Anyways, so that is where that comes from. Now, I'm not saying all evolutionists are, bigots. I'm just saying he was where it started. Okay, that's all I'm saying. And there's this guy too, who agrees basically. If I only heard of Darwin's dark side in passing, he's not a Christian either. I've always assumed that Darwin's critics were driven by ignorance or ulterior motives. But as I scrolled by debates online in Darwin's theories, I noticed something peculiar. Darwin's defenders most often cited his abolitionist identity, notes from his diaries, or quotes from people who knew Darwin. His accusers, on the other hand, often directly cited text from the Descent of Man. See the difference? Conclusions drawn from the authorial approach to the question, in which defenders focused on proving that Darwin himself was not a racist, starkly contradicted conclusions drawn from the approach of consulting Darwin's text itself. I'm familiar with Darwin's theories, but pay attention to this, but I have never actually read his books. I suspect the same is true for most of you. However, I found that to determine whether or not Darwin's theories are racist, the text of his books is revealing and conclusive. Information outside the text of The Descent of Man can help us understand the man behind the pen, but it does nothing to soften the brutal racism and white supremacism found in the text and the theory. Yeah, so there you go. There's another witness to that. All right. So 2 Timothy 3:2. Now, this is going to be in the end times here, right? 2 Timothy 3:2. This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, because the fathers weren't walking in integrity. Covetous, because the fathers were covetous. Boasters, because the fathers were boasters. Proud, because the fathers were proud. Blasphemers. This means all about themselves when it means proud. Not like, I'm proud of you, son, or whatever. It just means high and mighty, right? Blasphemers, disobedient to parents. This is the key for the kids watching. This is why they're acting all this way as well. But because the parents weren't teaching them the right way. They didn't have a solid foundation, right? It was all about do as thou wilt kind of thing, right? And the kids do. They're going to do as thou wilt, right? But whatever you want may not be the right thing. I'll just say, let's say, yeah, never mind. Something terrible. You love something terrible, right? And that's what you crave. Doesn't mean because you like doing that doesn't mean it's a good thing, right? Drugs. Just because you like doing drugs doesn't mean it's a good thing, right? But anyways, I digress. Disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despiser of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God. This is in the church, the mainstream church today. They are lovers of pleasure more than they are lovers of God. Having a form of godliness, and by the way, I was guilty as charged, okay? But denying the power thereof, from such turn away, right? We need to walk that narrow path, but there's a reason why it's called a narrow path, because it's narrow, and it says, and few find it, right? But anyways, Genesis 18:19. For I know him, that he will command his children in his household after him, right? They shall keep the way of the Lord. There's the ways of God, right? To do justice and judgment, that the Lord may bring upon Abraham that which he hath spoken of him. Right? To bring your children in the way of God, right? Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not cheat on your spouse. You know what I mean? And heck, keep, the seventh day as a day off of work. God prescribed day off of work. Rest, for goodness sakes. You know what I mean? Rest. Teach your children to rest as well, right? You can only work for so long. You know what I mean? You need rest, okay? But anyways, something I'm learning with working out is you need rest. You want to grow, that growth to come, you need some rest, right? So Proverbs 13:24. He that spareth his rod hateth his son, but he that loveth him chastiseth him betimes. Right? So, okay. Proverbs 13:24, 21. Evil pursueth sinners, but the righteous good shall be repaid. I should have read this first. A good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children. See, we are to build lives for children as well, right? and the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just. Much food is in the tillage of the poor, but there is that is destroyed for want of judgment. He that spareth his rod hateth the son, but you guys read that? The righteous eateth to satisfy of his soul, but the belly of the wicked shall want. All right. Proverbs 19:18. Chasteneth thy son while there is hope. Let not thy soul spare for his crying. Right? They need to understand there are consequences for your actions, right? And that when they hurt someone, they are hurting someone, right? Someone else and whatnot, If you get addicted to drugs, you're hurting your family and everyone else around you, right? So you need to, when your kids are there at that age and they're learning and stuff like that, right? You need to teach them that there is good ways and bad ways. If you do the bad ways, there's consequences for that, right? Or else they're going to do whatever they want to do. But you guys probably know that better than me, so. 3 John 1:4. I have no greater joy than to hear that my children walk in truth. Beloved, thou doest faithfully whatsoever thou doest to the brethren and to the strangers, which have borne witness of thy charity before the church, whom if thou bring forward on their journey after a godly sort, thou shalt do well. Amen. Proverbs 10:1. The Proverbs of Solomon. A wise son maketh a glad father, but a foolish son is the heaviness of his mother. Okay. Just bringing up all this stuff here. See, 1 Timothy 5:8. But if any provide not his own, and especially for those of his own house, he had denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. If you're a father and you're not providing, you're being a burden, you are worse than an infidel. It says it right there, right? So we need to stand our ground on that too. Be intuitive on finding ways, to provide for our families. Oh wait, did I? Sorry. Proverbs 14:26. In the fear of the Lord is strong confidence, and his children shall have a place of refuge. So if they see that you have this strong confidence in the Lord, they're going to want that. They'll find it too, right? And that they have a place, a refuge in the Lord. They can have that confidence, right? Psalms 146:9. The Lord preserveth the strangers. He relieveth the fatherless and the widow, but the way of the wicked he turneth upside down. So God will preserve the Gentiles? Interesting. I just wanted to bring that up. So Matthew 19:13. Then were there brought unto him little children. So this is Jesus here now, right? We're in the New Testament. That he should put his hands on them and pray. And the disciples rebuked them. But Jesus said, Suffer little children, and forbid them not to come unto me, for of such is the kingdom of heaven. Right? So our offsprings, will be the next people in the kingdom of heaven, right? Or in a better perspective, our kids are going to carry out what we have brought them, right? Is it going to be good things or bad things, right? Yeah. But that's why, when they went into Israel, God took 20 and younger because they're willing to learn, right? But anyways, as we get older, we get harder and harder to learn things. But anyways, 1 Timothy 4:1. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits. Right? Paul says, test all the spirits, right? To see if they are of God. By saying, did Jesus Christ come in the flesh, right? And doctrines of devils. So that goes with, where is it? This one? No. Where is it? Hold on a second. Sorry, guys. Oh, yeah, it's this one. That's right. Okay. For many shall come in my name, Jesus Christ, saying, I am Christ, that Jesus is the Christ, and shall deceive many, because they're giving heed to seducing spirits and to doctrines of devils. This is another reason why we have to guard our kids and give them the truth and let them be able to sift through it, right? To critically think. All right, we're going to end it on this verse here. John 14:6. Jesus saith unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. So, we need to lead our kids to Jesus Christ, to the truth on what he says. These red letters right here are the most important thing in anyone's life. And our kids need to know this, right? And to study it, to learn it, to understand it, and all that. But anyways, guys, I thank you for watching, and thank you for your support and all that you guys have done for me and all that, and all the people that are helping and stuff. Thank you. Thank you for watching, and you guys have a wonderful day.